Sounds good.
All right, so welcome today, Zara. Um, it's great to have you here today. We're just talking about all the amazing things you're doing. You know,
Thank you so much
your,
for
your
having me here.
yes, your story is very inspiring, and it's a good one. So tell me, what's your story? Let's hear it from your perspective.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start all the way back from the beginning. I
Mm,
was born in the Virgin Islands to Caribbean parents. My mom is Jamaican, my father is Antiguan. Very loving couple, very educated couple. Because of my father's work, we moved around a little bit. So I've lived in the Cayman Islands, I've lived in Jamaica, lived in California, and I end up back in the Virgin Islands, graduated from the university there with a BA in business with a concentration in marketing. And then I worked in the governor's office there for a little bit where um, I assisted in labor law,
mm,
and I worked with the attorney general for about actually for 8 years.
mm,
And then I had enough of that, and I ended up working in the private sector in the marketing team
mm,
for the parent company of Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
mm,
So I did a lot of the ads and the social media aspect that you see today.
mm,
And then I got that, in between all of that, I always had my side hustles because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur from the beginning.
mm,
So I would, in seventh grade, sell cookies out of my mother's
mm,
house with my sisters. That was my first business.
mm,
Um, then I would model. So I modeled on the side in the Caribbean region.
mm,
And I was also the beauty and natural hair editor for Caribbean Posh magazine for a few years. And I did blogging. I started a business called Lady Influence,
mm,
where I hosted these intergenerational activities just for women,
mm,
where we learned the soft skills that we couldn't really get in books. Because I learned personally a lot from my grandparents, my mothers, my godmothers. I was really influenced. And I think I am who I am because of the love and the wisdom and understanding that they poured in me. And I
mm,
realized that that was something that was missing in our village today. Like, there's this disconnect between the younger generation and the older generations. I wanted to bridge that gap.
mm,
So I did that for a few years and it did really well. And in my blog, I promoted everything and anything natural. So love your natural hair, love the skin that you're in, appreciate your shape. The outer um, beauty is important, but also, love your spirit. Be exactly who you are, living your authenticity naturally. You don't have to put a facade up for anyone or anything because that inner strength is naturally who you are, and that's where your power lies. So I did that for a few years, and then I had the opportunity to go to the mainland America, um, and I opened a restaurant a few years ago. I sold my car. I sold all my possessions. I dwindled my life down to 2 suitcases. I literally had only 2 suitcases to my name, full of whatever was in there at the time. And I took that money and I invested it. I betted on myself in a restaurant. Even though I did that, I didn't have enough money. So, I had to turn my hand, make fashion, make something out of nothing, and open this brand. And did extremely well. We sold out of food the first day in a couple hours. The outreach was amazing. Fast forward now, I am 2020 rising star in the culinary world. Restaurant has been top 100 in the region every year consecutively. I've also been blessed to grace the covers of Feast magazine, been featured in Sauce magazine, been featured on PBS Food is Love, which is a nationally broadcast uh, series.
mm,
And, just blessed. There's a lot of dark moments
mm,
on that journey, but
mm,
I've always been able to use those moments as lessons to propel me to ascend into my next level.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I
Oh, I
remember.
forgot to say
Yeah,
now, now I'm taking all that experience
of course.
and helping others.
Other people.
Yes.
That was what I was going to mention. That
Yes.
one of the first things we talked about when we spoke, if you remember, we talked about the hero's dynamics of how the hero goes on a journey, through disaster, and through encounters, they discover the elixir, and a lot of times they return home with the elixir, and
Mhm.
in your journey, all of these things committed are put together, from different living in different countries, different industries, trying out different things, and in every point of your at every point of your life, living authentically, you have acquired certain skills, certain understanding, experience, certain fruits, and this is why you got inspired to start helping people on their success right now, and I felt that was very powerful, you know, and because you're very qualified for this. So you're coming from a place of I am qualified. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen it. I know what it
Yes,
means.
I've tested it on myself. I've went through the fire. I understand.
I understand what it means. I understand what it feels like at these different points, and
Mhm.
that's a beautiful thing to see. Right now, especially right now in the world like this, so somebody who knows it and who have experienced it to show us. I love what's going on. I studied personally, I studied in Italy, and they have a very apprenticeship model, you know. So, but when I left Italy to study in different countries, and I realized it's not the same, and I understood why the Italians, the level of quality, in their design was very high, was very excellent because of the way the apprenticeship, and we're moving back to that Renaissance time where now people want to learn from people, people who are doing it, people like you who have done it, who've gone through all of that. What inspired you to want to do this?
Um, I've always been a risk taker,
Mm,
but I always take calculated risk. And if an opportunity comes and I do the research and the back end work and it makes sense, I'm gonna take it. So um, it was a couple of things. It was the opportunity, it was planning, it was the desire to be a full-time entrepreneur. And I think it was just a perfect storm for me to move forward in that journey. So, so often we always say we wish for opportunity, but we don't prepare ourselves. So when the opportunity comes, it passes by. So it's so important that if you know you have a goal or you have a desire, you continue to work on the desire. Tell, and if you're religious, the Heavenly Father the desires of your heart, and He makes it plain for you. But you have to do the work as well, because faith without works is dead.
wow. Um, it's interesting. What made you want to help other people? I mean, you could have just make your own money, live quietly. You don't even you can even live without being on social media. Like practically, you already have a restaurant in the local area. You personally could just be like, okay, let me watch my businesses grow. I have everything going on for me. But you chose to come on, take on different vulnerabilities, share your story, and say, look, I've been through it. Let me help you. What
Yeah.
made you want to go through that? Like, what made you want to do that?
Well, because I feel empowered when my people are empowered. One of the reasons why I went into business is because I know I work extremely hard and I wanted to retire my parents. That's like what that was the motivation for me. And when I achieved a certain amount of success, people would ask me, how did you do such and such, or how do I get this done? And I realized that because, in this part of the world, in the Caribbean and in America, people that look like me, melanated people, are at a disadvantage because the information isn't as readily available to them. It's my duty. because I came on the back of my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother. It's my duty to push that agenda forward and make sure the people who come after me or who are beside me have the opportunity to really progress. So it's like almost I don't even have a choice. I have to do that. That's one of my purpose because someone did it for me.
Mm. And right now, you have a program, right,
Yeah.
where within which people can come and learn from you.
Yeah, it's called Fuel Your Fire because you have to be passionate about what you do. And I help you fuel that passion into dollars.
Mm,
I help you get the right media attention, the right PR that
mm,
will help you solidify yourself as a brand. But I also help you understand that what is uniquely yours can't be duplicated.
mm,
And that is where your strength lies. So we identify that, we come with a clear story, and then we put you in front of the right eyeballs.
mm. Wow. And do you have a specific time period you do this? You know, is it
Yes, it's a 3 month program.
4 months?
3 months.
3 months. Okay.
Yes.
Month program.
The first month is basically getting it, I do a deep dive into your brand, make sure that there's clarity, make sure we need to streamline any systems, make sure that you're really in your authentic self because people could sniff through fakeness in a minute.
Mm,
And then we come up with strategy so we don't act willy nilly. We make sure we have a plan to execute what the goals are, and we turn those goals into action steps so that we have a systematic way of approaching what your goals are. And then in the second month, we start, you know, putting you in front of the right people, testing our systems, seeing what works, developing new systems if we need to, fine tuning, analyzing what is working and not. And then in the third month, we just literally put gasoline on what works and set you on fire.
you're fire.
Literally. So you
Wow.
end up being
That-
every.
that's the way to put it. Mm. Wow. So you basically hold their hand through the entire process.
Yes, because you need that. Sometimes you need that extra pair of eyes, the extra pair of hands that's looking outside of yourself to be like, yes, this is my idea. But what if I just, tweak this or tweak that? That's why it's always good to have an outside perspective because you can only see so much, and you can always start a brand, but you can't scale a brand by yourself. You need a team. You need strong sound, wisdom, and understanding around you, and you need a plan, and you need that outside voice sometimes to just ping ideas off of and get your brand in order.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Oh, like you do that all of that for a person. That takes away everything. I remember going to business school and being in business school, I'm wondering they still haven't talked about how to start a business. Like, how
Theory.
how do I take this idea into an economic value? Uh,
Yeah, it's the
I've
hyper.
written 20 essays, but now I still don't know what how do I go from but it is but now you basically are showing people how to start it, how to do it, and how to take it off.
Or even if you're started already, how to advance to the next level, because you could be very good at what you're doing and no one knows or no one sees. So I actually like to work with established brands that have been in business for 2 3 years already, who are really good and have like the reviews and stuff, but just don't have the light shone upon them. And I
Mm,
can literally show you how you could tweak some things and then be on covers and be in nationally acclaimed shows and be wherever you want to be, because I've done it and I've done it for other brands. So I actually like working with established brands that have a certain amount of pull already and have refined their craft.
refine
Because
it.
I
Mm,
can't work with you if you're not good at what you do. You have to be great. I was able to be on Starts magazine because I'm a really good chef. I know how to cook. I
mm,
learned how to cook when I was 4.
mm,
So um, being your authentic self, being damn good at what you do,
do.
and having your systems in place, I
Mm,
can now take that, tweak it a little bit, and then push you in the right direction
mm,
to really get the attention that you need that will solidify your brand and bring new customers to you.
mm. that was the next question I was gonna ask, which is okay, who who like how does one qualify to work with you? And you just answered that, they have to be already good at refined their craft,
Yes.
refined craft. Then also they have to be willing to be authentic.
Yes.
Your system only works with authenticity.
Yeah.
It works with refined when you have a refined craft and with someone who is authentic, who has a pool already, tested a few things and said, okay, you know what? How do I take this to the next level? And that's
Yeah.
where you're really coming.
Yeah, because you can't say you want to be an opera singer and you never sang a day in your life. That's not gonna
Mhm.
work. That's not gonna work. Everybody will see right through you. You have to be good at what you do. You
Mm,
have to have that certain level of confidence. And even if you don't have all the systems in place, I can help you with that part.
mm,
Like I'm really systematic in approach to different things and finding ways to streamline. Because then one could always be a business owner, but to be a CEO, you have to have other people working for you and
mm.
not be just self-employed.
Wow. In a word of motivation, it becomes a courageous thing to be able to say, hey, look, all the motivation will get you somewhere, but you got to be good at what you do. Where's that courage coming from? The courage to say, this is the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. This is the truth. Where's the courage coming from for you?
I think that comes with experience
Mm,
because I've been through the fire.
mm,
I've been refined literally through the fire. That's why I call it through your fire. Like, um, I think just knowing what I know because I have the experience
mm,
plays along with it. I'm not saying it in a boastful or audacious manner. It's just, it is what it is.
mm. So, what would be your message to anyone who is trying um, to foil your fire right now? What would be your message to them?
My first message would be like, book a call with me.
What's the problem?
But outside of that, just hone your craft. If you want to be a pilot,
Mm,
find ways to go to school to get the license, partner up with other pilots who've done it before, get mentorship, spend time researching the types of planes that you want to fly. Just even spend time with manufacturers or engineers if you can. Like really be good at what you do because the opportunity will come. Um, and put yourself out there. So often we don't say what we want. If you want certain things, the most they could say is no. But what if they say yes? And
mm,
then you open up a whole plethora of opportunities that wouldn't have been available to you if you didn't even say anything. And I always take it back to the Bible. We have not because we ask not. You have to open your mouth once
mm,
you do the work to get where you need to go.
mm. Wow, that's very inspiring message. Hone the craft, and just do whatever it takes. Basically, you
Yeah.
know, like
Not
just
whatever, but
like
with
legally, morally, legally, morally, ethically. Like show up,
yes.
get the mentor. It's not one thing. Get the mentor. Be
Hmm.
good at what you do. Like put it all
And
together.
consistent
Mm,
because sometimes you will get it's not easy. You will get backs about left and right. Life would happen, things would allow you to slow down, but
mm,
you should never stop. You have to be consistent because if this really is a gut innate passion of yours, you
mm.
have to just keep continuing going because your time will come and you have to be prepared. It's almost like a perfect storm. It's preparation, opportunity, and the timing. Everything, hand in hand will help you and propel you forward.
Well, that's what's in the pot, right? The preparation, the opportunity, and the timing. You know.
Yeah.
Mm. Uh, wow. And in that preparation, is there clarity? That's the first month of clarity. That's where you do all of that, right? That
Yeah.
got innate. There's the way you call it. Got innate passion. Yes, got innate passion.
Yeah.
So that's within that first month, you get clear on that.
Yeah, because what I find, and even for myself, because I'm so involved in the everyday aspect of business, you kind of lose track of that. clear message that you want to portray to your audience.
mm,
So even though you're in it and you live in it and you feel like you are saying a certain message, that might not necessarily be coming across to your audience.
mm,
So you have to make sure that your message is clear to your audience. They know exactly what you're about. They know where to find you. You know everything that they need to know, and that your message resonates with them. Because you could tell your story, and nobody it don't touch anybody, but
mm,
then you could say the same story differently, and everybody in the room is crying and taking their wallets out. So you have to know how and what to say, and making sure that that message is coming across clearly. And it's hard sometimes
mm,
when you're in the everyday hustle bustle of your brand to really make sure that that message is being clear. So that's where I come in with new pairs of eyes to make sure that you are portraying exactly the message you want to share.
mm. Wow. And you have had to reinvent yourself a few times.
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious on that. Is there something that a lot of people don't know? When it comes to reinventing yourself.
I feel like if you don't change, you die.
Mm,
Change is a part of progression, and um, just like there's a level of discernment of knowing when to take a risk, there's
mm,
a level of discernment to know when you need to turn or pivot or leave or
mm,
reevaluate or change. And I think that's where you start to see um, inertia when people don't allow change into their life. And I think because of my childhood, every 2, 3 years I was moving. I don't have a childhood friend that I know for like 15 years because I always had change. And I think, you don't understand um, the path that God has for you until you can look back. And even little things like that is like it taught me from a young age that change is inevitable. How you use that change is what's gonna make or break you. And when you change, there's growth.
mm.
And growth is what you need to move forward because that becomes a better version of yourself.
Wow. So you embrace the present moment. You know.
Yes. And I'm aware. You have to be aware.
Mm,
So in every situation, good or bad, there's times where you have to change.
mm,
Um, and that will actually determine your flight or your descent, like what you do with that opportunity or lesson.
wow. Thank you very much for sharing all of that. For the people who want to contact you, who want to work with you, they hear your message, and they say, "Look, I am ready to hone my craft, or I am authentic, and I have refined my craft. I need to go to the next level."
Mhm.
They like your message, they like your story, I want to work with you. How can they contact you? How can they reach you?
They can find me at Zahra Muse. That's ZahraMuse.com. Also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Zahra Muse. Um, on that page, you can book a call with me. It's a complimentary call. And whether we decide to work together or not, I always leave you with some nuggets of wisdom because I feel like that's important. But that again is Zahra Muse, ZahraMuse.com.
Mm. Uh, thanks for doing what you do. I really believe in what you do. Thank you
Thank you
for
for
coming
believing
today.
in
All right.
me.